Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley. With me, as always, he is from PigTownSports. He is Zach Moore. Zach, good evening, my friend. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm busy. Been doing a lot of. I got picked to coach our travel team, so I've been hosting tryouts and sending cut phone calls and cut emails, and it's been a rough day.
Yeah, that's never fun. That's never fun having to be the axe man for a little kid. You know that's got to be.
I want to coach everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, welcome in to the Bat Around. Today's show brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Today's show also brought to you by Warnken Law. When you need results in Baltimore, you don't play small ball. If you've been hurt in a crash, call 443-RESULTS or visit warnkenlaw.com. That's 443-RESULTS. All right, we are 21 and a half hours away from the trade deadline. The Orioles, they made a trade. Actually, well, they traded for Jake Rogers, the newly DFA'd catcher from the Tigers, and a lot of people knew that he was Tarek Skubal's preferred catcher before he was back in the day when Skubal said he wouldn't have won his first Cy Young without Jake Rogers. So some fans were like, trying to put two and two together. Oh, are the Orioles making a play for Skubal? No, they have two healthy catchers on the 40-man roster. They brought in Jake Rogers. He's an elite defender and pitch framer. Not a great bat, but he got on base twice today in a six-inning game. And then they DFA'd Chadwick Trump. So now we've got Pozo and Rogers as we wait for Basayo and Rutschman to come back. And then we saw Dean Kramer get traded for a high A outfielder. 18 years old, and oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I did not write down his name, and it's a mouthful.
I already forgot his name too.
Yeah,
but I've had a rough day.
Yeah, I didn't write down his name. 18-year-old outfielder from the Minnesota Twins organization. Last name Reyes. What? Oh my gosh. Why am I not finding this name anywhere? You'd think it would pop up like immediately.
Let's see, Dean Kramer trade.
Jamnardo Reyes. He's a Dominican corner outfielder who was signed for $300,000 by the Twins in 2025. He was tearing up the Gulf or the Florida Coast League. 855 OPS in rookie ball. He's now the Orioles' number 20 prospect. Something like 65 grade power or 55 grade power. Like
I've seen a couple people talk about that he's potentially going to fall in the top 100 list at the end of this season because the intangibles and the tools are just that good.
Mm-hmm. And I saw some trade valuation sites that said that the Twins overpaid for Dean
he was
Kramer.
worth $15 million and Dean Kramer was worth $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So Dean Kramer, 6.50 ERA this year. He gets traded to the Minnesota Twins. They're hoping that he can. And what Dean Kramer always does, usually in his first 6, 7, 8 starts, he's not very good, and then he finds it, turns it on, and pitches to a 3.65 ERA the rest of the year. He's made 8 starts for the Orioles, the last 4 or 5 of which have not been, or the last 4, I think, which have not been very good. Gives up a lot of home runs this year, but now he's off, staying basically in the same spot in the playoff chase, going over to the Minnesota Twins, who I believe are a half game ahead of the Orioles right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a game ahead of the Orioles because it's the Mariners that are half game ahead. Do you think this had anything to do with the can you see situation on the field?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it did either.
That didn't even bother me. Like, that almost seemed like a question because, I mean, there's little nuances all over the stadiums depending on what time of the day it is, if you can actually see or not. And to me, it just looked like hey, like, is there anything blocking you? Because he kind of moved his head a little bit. And to me, it just seemed like a question. Like, are you good? Can I throw it back over there again? And I bring up the other day, and I know you've probably seen this, but do you remember the other day in Arizona, the sun was so bad, the third baseman threw a bounce pass to the guy at second base to throw a double play. So those things happen. It's in every stadium at a certain time of the day. And I think he was just asking, like, hey, are you good? And that was it. Like, I think it got really blown out of proportion.
When I saw it at first, I was like, "What the hell is he doing?" And then when it was explained after the game, I was like, "That makes sense." Because why else would he say, "Can you see?" Like that obviously makes sense that he would ask him that. When I
Yeah.
saw some of the radio hosts the next day talking about it, like I think Dean was having a moment, and I didn't like that, and blah,
Right.
like you're adding fuel to the fire here. I
Hmm.
didn't think that was. For me, I took Dean at his word on that. Like I don't think that he was trying to show up Pete. I think
Right.
he was genuinely asking him. Um, my initial knee jerk reaction when I first saw this is, I mean, this is a guy. This is a guy who's been a solid number five starter in a rotation since 2020. Was the Orioles' best starter in 22 and maybe even 2023. He pitched some big games for the team. He pitched some clunkers for the team, a lot of clunkers this year, um, but still a valuable pitcher and has team control through next year.
Right.
And when I saw that, I'm like, and you got an 18-year-old A ball outfielder for a legitimate big league starter who threw
A good number five.
176 innings. Yeah, like he threw
Good number five.
176 innings last year.
Hmm.
I was a little taken aback by that, but I can be swayed, and I have been swayed by the people telling me, and from what I've been reading about how big of a prospect this guy could potentially be, and how it was an overpay by the Twins, and I'm okay with it, and especially because part of me has to believe that they're going to bring in another starter, but then I also look at the fact they don't need a number five starter until next Saturday, and Chris Bassett's coming back, right?
Hmm.
So, do you think that their plan is just to replace Kramer with Bassett at this point?
Probably. I mean, you still have Povich, you still have Gibson, you got Bassett. They don't need another starter to the 8th, so like another
Yeah.
6 days or something. So, yeah, I mean, it gives them time to do whatever. I think Chris pitched tonight. Was this
Yeah,
today or is it
he
tomorrow?
pitched this afternoon. He went I think I saw he went 4 and a third. He gave up 1 run on 3 hits. I think he hit 3 batters too,
Yeah,
and 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, something like that.
yeah,
Now I'm of the belief that they're going to just replace Kramer with Chris Bassett. Uh, we're heading into this deadline tomorrow night, and Elias came out on Friday and he said, "Look, we put ourselves in a position where we can't put ourselves in one bucket or the other. We're just going to see how things look and how things play out." And
yeah.
I mean, it's a far cry from back on June 27th when he said, "We're all in. We're going to be buyers." What changed? Because they're closer to the wild card now than they were back on June 27th. So what changed?
Right. Well, they haven't won a whole lot, have they?
Well, I mean,
They still can't hit. That's the problem.
they had the second best record in baseball in July
Yeah.
behind the Red Sox. They had that huge victory against the Tigers on Wednesday. I mean, you're down 7-0 in the seventh inning with Tarek Skubal on the mound, and you come back and you win that ball game, and then you come back on Friday after the off day, and you have another late game comeback against the Phillies, and everybody should be feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
Like it was for me, it was odd timing to have Elias come out on Friday, the first time anybody speaks after that epic comeback victory, to kind of throw water on things.
Yeah.
That was odd timing for me.
I feel like everything this year has been odd.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Maybe they played harder that night. I don't know. Maybe the squirrel gave them some juju. Who knows? But it was definitely weird to hear. Not that I disagree with it. Because yeah, I Mike, you're not gonna. It's not just Mike either. You're not gonna find a guy that's gonna come out and be like, "Hey, we're not hitting like we should." Like I'm not pushing my chips in for this offense to fail. Not saying that that's how Mike thinks, but that's how I would look at it. I mean, this offense, the core of this offense has struggled mightily the entire season. And, but Jackson Holliday's turned around a little bit. You're hoping Gunnar turns it around. And I think Pete's been everything that we've thought we were getting out of Pete, outside maybe the first 3-4 weeks of the season. But he's been well. But, the outfield's just not great. They may be trading Taylor Ward, so the outfield potentially maybe could get worse. The third base has been a fluid situation. How long is Encarnacion Strand going to continue to perform? Because we've seen these hot streaks when guys first come up. So when does he hit the wall? I don't know how they look at this offense and think that they're a contending team to want to sink your prospects in for.
Right.
Because I don't think one guy makes this entire team any better either. And I don't think it's one big move either. Like, even Tariq Skubal, I don't think Skubal makes this a World Series team by any means.
Hit for you. Like
they can win a wild card game, maybe, if they decided to hit that day. But that's about it. I mean, they legitimately need better outfielders. They need more consistent at bats from third. DH has been up and down. Obviously, with the injuries, you don't know how long these guys are going to be out and whatnot. I think he answered it perfect. We're not pushing our chips one way, too far the other, because it's just been such a roller coaster season.
Yeah, and then you hear about the trade rumors for guys like Rutschman and Jackson Holliday and Colton Cowser, obviously Taylor Ward, but that makes the most sense. You hear little rumblings about Trevor Rogers, because if he doesn't want to negotiate till after the season, and you could get a haul for him right now. You could get a haul for Trevor Rogers and then try to negotiate with him in the offseason.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then somebody said a little bit earlier in the show, are the Rutschman and Yankees talk, the talks between the Orioles and Yankees about Rutschman true? I don't know. I believe that the Yankees have called. I don't know how far it's gotten. I think it was Jeff Passan said that the odds that Adley gets traded are like 60%, like 60-40. But then somebody else came out and said that the odds that Jackson Holliday gets traded are like 40%, and I don't think that that's even remotely true.
Jackson Holliday might be about 0.4%.
Yeah.
Adley, I'd put Adley right now at about 80, maybe 85.
Yeah. You think that the Yankees will be the most aggressive and end up with Rutschman? Because
I'd like Tampa Bay.
You think Tampa Bay?
Yeah, ask for Bodine back.
You think that? I don't think that'll get it done.
I do.
I mean, he's leading the minors in hitting.
Yeah, I don't know. Minors though.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, and most of my thumbnail and all is straight up talking about Adley. From what I've heard, the ball's been in his court for a long time for an extension, and it hasn't gotten done. You're 28 years old. He's asking for a significant contract. They're pretty far off from what I've heard. At what point do you just say, like, look, I've exhausted my options to keep you here. We've shown that we want you here, but it's in your court kind of thing. The best thing for me to do would be to acquire something rather than you just walking for nothing. Now, granted, yeah, you could probably trade him in the offseason and do that. Now, I 1,000% agree that I think this would make the fan base explode. And I'm not going to kind of dance around that, because Adley was the guy that signaled everything going in the right direction. What irritates me about Adley, and I love Adley, 714 games since the day that he was called up. Do you have any of those he's actually caught?
Out of 714 games, how many he's caught?
714 eligible games, meaning since the day he was called up, the Orioles have played 714 games.
And how many he's caught?
I mean, he's caught. Now, this is just catching, right? Obviously, injuries happen, DH, stuff like that, but just catching.
No idea. 500.
418. 58% of the games available. How am I supposed to offer somebody a lucrative contract who's only catching 58% of the games that he's been available for?
Now, to play devil's advocate here, I mean, is that his fault that they're resting him every day, game after a night game, that he's catching 2 out of every 3 games in a series instead of 3 games in a row? Like if you play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, and he's not catching on Wednesday, or he catches Monday and Wednesday, I know that the injuries, like, he needs to be better about staying healthy. The entire team, the entire franchise does.
Yeah.
But he's not the one making the lineup unless he's going up to them and saying, "Hey, I can't play today." which I don't think is the case.
None. Obviously, he's a much better hitter as a DH to a point. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Rutsch, but he's a much better hitter as a DH. But still, like if you were to think, like say we gave Rutschman a 6 to 8 year deal. Now we're talking a guy that's going to be 34 to 36 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And let's pull up the position splits here. He's only caught 418 games, and he's going to get older, right? He's just a 249 hitter as a catcher with just 47 home runs and less than 200 RBIs. So it's not fantastic, but it's serviceable for a catcher. 268 as a DH, just 21 home runs, just 76 RBIs. Now, granted, this is less than a full season of baseball, but for the most part, I would say it's pretty good. Let me ask your personal opinion, though. A guy going into his mid-30s that already struggles to stay healthy and catch multiple times a week. And it's been documented plenty. Is he good enough to move to first base and hit?
No.
Is he good enough to be your full-time DH?
No.
Why do you give him a long-term deal?
I get it.
It's not like you have Salvador Perez here, who can go move to play first base, and the bat is just that freaking good. I mean, we're talking about a guy who potentially, now I don't have numbers on point here, but potentially could be asking for upwards of $18 million a year. Do you give him that?
Not for.
I have no idea what
seasons.
they offered him, to be honest. I have no idea. But I just can't see. Like, for me, Adley Rutschman's a four for $60 million deal would be good for the Orioles.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. I would agree $15 million a year for 4 years for Adley would be good. And maybe they thought the same thing.
On the overpay, probably.
And maybe that's what they offered him. He was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
You know.
Now I remember a couple of years ago when Will Smith signed that 10-year deal, $140 million. I thought that was the bench for Adley. Mm-hmm. $14 million a year. I thought it was great over 10 years. Smith's a little bit better, I think, at least in the hitting department. At the time, was throwing guys out at a significantly better clip. It just felt like Will Smith was a little bit better than Adley Rutschman, and I still thought being a 1-of-1 that was probably Adley's bar. Mm-hmm. Obviously, then he got hurt for 2 straight years and struggled. Then you're looking at a guy now at 28 years old. I can't give a 28-year-old more than $6 million or 6 years. There's no way. Not as a catcher.
Yeah.
Now my rebuttal to that is they have nothing else, and we've seen that. We've seen that. Sammy Basayo is not a guy that you want to catch over 100 games. Right? Mm-hmm. You want the bat DHing, staying healthy, and just getting better. Right? Mm-hmm. You don't want him as your everyday catcher. You just don't.
And that's why I was on board with an Adley extension, because I think that ultimately, at some point, Basayo moves off catcher. Yeah. Now, I know that Salvador Perez is a big-bodied catcher who catches 140 games even to this day. I understand that. But Basayo is 21 years old, and he's already been hurt multiple times in the minor leagues and multiple times in the majors. Do we really think that his body's not going to wear down as he gets older? You know, right. Like I just when I look at Basayo, I see somebody who's ultimately destined to be a first baseman DH type. Mm-hmm.
Probably a DH, and you can make a lot of money. And look at Yordan Alvarez. Yeah, you can make some money. And speaking of that, and I'm going to bring back to Yordan Alvarez. Somebody talked about earlier about Dean Kramer trading for a young kid. Yordan Alvarez was traded in 2017 when he was just 19 years old. Mm-hmm. Or maybe 20 years old, straight out of the Dominican League. And it just happens sometimes. Guys will click. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Just because they're young doesn't mean much. It just means you don't have enough info on them yet.
Yeah, and look, and I 100% get that. 100% get that. And ultimately, the Dean Kramer trade, I'm okay with, because he's not a guy who, like, he started the year in the minor leagues. He ended up back here because of injuries, and he got hurt himself for 2 months. And then he came back, and he's just serving up gopher balls every time he goes out there. So, like, I understand it. I understand that you had to get something for him, and if you don't play next year or you have limited games next year, you know, you got something. You got a decent return
Yeah.
for Dean Kramer. For me, it just kind of told me you just traded the guy to another team who's in the playoff race, who's ahead of you, who's looking for a starter, and you didn't get back something that helps you this year.
Yeah.
And that's when I look at it and I say, are they kind of showing that they're in sell mode, which sucks.
We talked about it before that they should be in buy and sell mode.
Right. To this point, though, you're seeing all the other teams that know that want to make a run at the playoffs. I mean, we saw the Dodgers go get Tarek Skubal. We saw the Yankees go get Luis Garcia. We saw the Rangers go and trade for Silseth and who is the catcher out there? Logan O'Hoppe. We saw them trade for those guys, and those are, O'Hoppe was somebody that the Orioles were looking into, and Silseth was somebody that I mentioned to you that I wanted the Orioles to make a run at as a reliever. The teams that want to get better, that want to make a playoff run, they've already started making moves.
Yeah.
And the Orioles' moves are Dean Kramer for an A-ball outfielder and Jake Rogers for $100,000 essentially.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think that's really fair. But they, do you think they were getting much more for Dean?
No, I think it's just more a microcosm of how they're operating.
Yeah. But 3 years from now, and I seen somebody say, like, this kid probably can't help the team for 5 years, but I don't think that's true either, because if somebody gets freaking hot, like, they're moving through the system. I mean, Nate George went from rookie ball through all the way through high A. Yeah, almost to double A in 1 year, but, obviously getting hurt this year. But, if guys can hit, they can hit, man. And if some of these, I was reading Baseball America, they love Reyes. Like, they think that he may hit their top 100. And at first I was like, okay, maybe what if they flipped Reyes somewhere else? And then I was thinking, I started thinking maybe Skubal or something like that. But, because they did it with who did they do that with last year that they acquired? Was it Juwan Rotz Brown, or is he still here?
He's still here.
It was the other guy.
Was it the shortstop that they got from Detroit for Charlie Morton, the young Dominican shortstop that they got?
No, I think you're thinking of that was from Chicago, Wolfie De La Cruz.
Maybe that is.
They got was it Ashman, Micah Ashman for Morton?
I think that's
he's pitched really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, he may, if this guy pops off, could help the team within 2 or 3 years, and then he could. I'd look back at that trade and be like, "Damn, that was really smart." Wellington Arinsena, yeah, that guy. It's tough to keep up with all these names. There's too many names.
I don't know how people remember them like that. Like, sheesh.
25 minutes from now, I'd probably remember it, but not on the spot.
Right.
Not on the spot, but yeah, I mean. Right now, it doesn't look great, but I honestly think like last year, it didn't look great at first either. And then that Ryan O'Hearn trade happened, and it was like, okay, like we just that just helped the ball club for the significant future. Mm-hmm. And with Dean, obviously, he still had a year of control, but when you look around, you still have Povich, and you still have Trey Gibson, who could still make a jump like Brandon Young just did.
Yeah.
But you also have Joe D, who's flying through the system, Caden Hunter flying through the system. They've got a couple other guys that are really starting to pitch well that just got promoted recently too. So they also have to start looking at room too, because you can't keep everybody. And they also have a significant amount of guys that are hitting the Rule 5 draft this year too that they also need to add to the 40-man. So sometimes you got to bite the bullet a little bit and go with a young guy. One, because you don't have to put him on a 40-man roster for 4 years, but because you're looking at. We've read it off a couple weeks ago. I don't remember who they all are now, but Bradfield's one of them. Levi Wells is one who's also another pretty good pitcher in the system. But it was a significant amount of pitching that they have to add to the 40-man. So like just giving yourself an extra spot there. I feel like we look at the cover of a trade. But, like, when these things are happening, like, there's multiple layers of why they're done and why they get the guys back that they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, I understand it. It's just when you've watched this team lose.
Hmm.
Like I said, I'll be 42 next month, and I've seen them. I've seen I think 13 winning seasons in my entire life, right? And so when all you do is
There you
see
go.
this
15
team,
guys Rule 5 eligible this December.
yeah, that's
That's
insane.
a lot of guys you got to
That,
try and
that's
protect.
that's insane, and you don't have 15 spots.
Exactly.
You know, you don't.
So
So
to trade Kramer and then bring another guy in who would hit your 40 man, like that didn't really help you at all.
yeah,
But to get somebody that potentially could be really good and then open that spot to not lose one of these arms, I think that probably played into the factor there.
I get it. And when you think about it, most people aren't looking at it from that
Right.
lens. You know, you're just
We're
saying,
just looking at the top cover and that's it.
yeah, exactly. So I just want to see this team go for it. I
Yeah.
want to see them finally go for it. And we thought that we saw that in the offseason. You know, they signed Helsley and Pete Alonso and Chris Bassett, and they trade for Shane Baz, and we're feeling good about things. And then, you know, all the shit hits the fan, like really from jump, from the first day of spring training this year
Yeah.
between Westberg and Holiday, and then Bassett's like never before seen back injury they had to deal with, and I just want to see them go for it at a deadline, and we really have never seen it. You know, we've never seen, and in 2022 they traded to their all-star closer and one of the most beloved Orioles of all time, and then the next year they trade for Jack Flaherty, which like, and then the next
At
year
the time, I actually liked that move.
I hated it.
Really?
I tried to convince myself that I liked it because he had pitched okay his
Yeah.
last 10 starts or so for the Cardinals, but like, and then he
His
came
track
in.
record was pretty good, though.
Well, he had been one of the best young pitchers in the National League, and then he got
Yeah.
hurt, and he had a lot of
Yeah.
lot of injury history. And then he was like up and down for them, and I didn't see him. And then his first start in Toronto, I think he went 7 innings, a 2-run ball or something like that. And,
Yeah.
and and you're feeling really good about him, and then nothing after that. You know, it was just abysmal from him. But
Yeah.
and I know everybody thinks I hate everything that the Orioles do. I don't. I haven't been. I thought what they did at the deadline last year was great. You obviously had to sell, and I thought you got an awesome return last year at the deadline. I thought they did a great job in the draft last year and this year. But like, I want to see them say, "Hey, we're this close. We're this close. Let's make a run." But to your point, this year they're not this close. Because
Yeah.
everybody's linking them to starting pitching, and up until this past week, the starting pitching hasn't really been an issue for them. They can't hit.
Yeah.
They absolutely, and nothing was more
And I
glaringly
always go
out.
back to that too when people are like they got to go for it, but I'm like, you can go for it all you want, but you still gotta score runs. It's hard to beat people in baseball when you're scoring 0 runs.
Leody Taveras is on 90% of the teams in Major League Baseball. He is a fourth or fifth outfielder who plays twice a week and bats ninth.
Yeah.
He plays 4 or 5 days a week for the Orioles, and he bats anywhere from fifth to seventh.
Yeah.
And it
And
was
I,
no,
I love the guy. Like if he was coming in for like Taylor Ward in the 8th inning, I love him. Love him
Right.
because he's great at that role.
right.
He should never see center field over Colton Cowser, and I don't care if Colton Cowser was hitting 57. Because his
And-
defense just isn't. It's good, but it's not even in the same class as Colton Cowser, and
No.
they need to prioritize defense.
Well, and it was never more glaringly obvious how much they need outfield help than last night when the Orioles loaded the bases in back-to-back innings, and it was Taveras that came up both times. The first time, and he hadn't just Sanchez hadn't just loaded the bases; he had walked the bases loaded, and he'd thrown 21 straight pitches out of the strike zone.
Yeah,
And Taveras swing, he should have been ahead in that count. They're down 1-0. They have the bases loaded. He should have been up 3-0, and instead he's down 1-2.
yeah,
And then he strikes out on a pitch, on the only actual strike that got thrown in the at bat, and he didn't even swing at it. And then the next at bat, he grounds out the shortstop with the bases loaded, and he showed a lot of emotion there. But at the end of the day, didn't get the job done. And you're sitting there,
Yep.
and you're like, couldn't Cowser have done that? Like, this is what happens when you start a guy like Taveras 5 days a week, and bat him fifth, sixth, or seventh. He's an extra outfielder.
So what's actually kind of funny is he's had 15 plate appearances this year with bases loaded.
I know he has a grand slam. He has 5 home runs, and one of them's a grand slam.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He actually leads the team in RBIs with bases loaded. That surprises me. Oh God, Pete. Ugh.
Pete's got like 1 hit with the bases loaded, right?
Yeah, he's 2 for 13.
2 for 13. And I don't think Gunnar has done much with the bases loaded. I don't know that he's has many plate appearances with the bases loaded though.
So actually, Fangraphs just really, I'm talking really upgraded their UI, and I don't even know where the hell that is anymore to get rid of it. Oh, here it is, plate appearances. Good Lord, that UI is brutal. A Holiday. Okay, there you go. There you go. 3 for 4. Blaze is 6 for 9. Where's that? Where's Gunner? Here we go. 5. What is that? 0 for 5.
0 for 5.
0 for 5, 3 walks. Beavers 0 for 5 with 2 walks. Yeah, so I mean, there's Taylor Ward 0 for 4 with no walks. So you've done nothing. Shocker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete, man, that's Basayo 1 for 6. I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, we're not putting too much stock into 6 at bats, 5 at bats, but
yeah, and
but
that's,
yeah, consistently seeing Lodi Taveras come up. Now, granted, 13 RBIs is nice, but I mean,
that was
how much better could it be with somebody else?
Right. And then I was kind of looking at like there's not many options that like. I don't know, man. How is their outfield going to be better next year?
No.
Right. Like, unless you go sign some free agents, and I was looking at the free agent
Kevin
class.
Gausman to the Cubs.
Oh, Gausman got traded to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Well, good for them. Good for him.
Cubs need anything, and anything that breathes that can throw a baseball, the Cubs need it.
Man. Gausman to the Cubs. So
I bet you the Cubs would have probably sent a top 10 prospect for Dean Kramer. That's how bad they need pitching.
Dude, you know what? I didn't even realize last night because of all the Scooble stuff? The Mariners traded Luis Castillo to the White Sox. I thought
that was a good deal. They got Sir Anthony Dominguez back. But they got pretty decent prospects, too. And Seattle's already kind of loaded in their system, too.
And then I heard talks about Seattle maybe trading George Kirby, which he's kind of fallen off the last couple of years. Yeah. He's still damn good though.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And it's I keep going back to what you said. Like they're not a player away. The Orioles. They're not. It's not like they need a starting pitcher to make a run because they've gotten good starting pitching. I think they do need some back end relief help, and they need probably 2 more bats.
Yeah.
When Gunnar Henderson's OPS is sub 700 and he's batting 3rd every night, and Taylor Ward has 7 home runs and less than 30 RBI, 110 games into the season, and he's batting 4th every night for you now. Like that's not a recipe for scoring runs.
We complain about Mike taking outfielders every draft, but we still don't have outfielders that are ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like Judd Fabian, nice ball player. He's not knocking on the door for the majors. You know, they got Frederick Ben Cosme in Double-A. You know, you got Enrique Bradfield Jr. He's not really banging on the door to get to the big leagues.
He's not.
People just want him here for his defense.
He's
not having a bad year at all.
He's not having a bad year, but
he's just not banging on the door.
Yeah, and it's crazy because at the beginning of the year, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, Kowser playing center field, he can hit 25 home runs. He might hit 200, but he can hit 25 home runs. He'll give you good defense. And you got Ward coming off a 36 homer, 102 RBI season playing, and he walked 75 times last year. He's got 10 more walks this year than he had all last year, but he's got 7 home runs and less than 30 RBI. Like his production fell off a cliff. But you're looking at it to start the year. Ward in left, Kowser in center, and then a platoon of a 30 homer guy in O'Neill and Kyle Tucker Light in Dylan Beavers, and you're feeling good about things. And then between injuries and just ineffectiveness and severe drop off, Kowser's hitting less than 100 since June. Since like June 28th. I think they said that his RBI in extra innings on Wednesday was his first RBI since Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts to me.
Right. And that's the best you got.
Yeah, it's
like
the best
far.
you got. And Which sucks, man, because like as a fan, you look at it and you're like, man, I want you to go for it. I want you to go for it. I want you to make some moves here.
I
But then
did
you
see
really
somebody talk about Austin O'Verne, and I agree with it. It was from Judge Baltimore, O'Verne crushing it from Montgomery, and he is. And I was a big Austin O'Verne fan, big, and I honestly think he'd be here right now. But I mean, and Bodine too. But like Shane Baz has, I think, been everything that we wanted so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know he still gets a little bit of hate, but I mean, like Shane Baz goes out there all the time, gets no run support whatsoever, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he consistently will go 6 innings, 3 runs or less. He's a quality start machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had to give up something to get something. And it's cool that I should say it's cool. I mean, it sucks honestly, but it was a rare win again for both teams in that trade so far. Obviously not to the point of like Kyle Stowers and Trevor Rogers kind of thing, but for how they're performing in the minor leagues, I'd say it's a win-win so far. But I mean, like, would I have loved to have those guys here right now? Obviously, because we had no catching at all.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw that. We have no outfield, but like, pitching is literally the hardest thing to find. So I don't think I don't. It sucks to lose those guys, but like, how often has it been since he leads the team in WAR, right, for pitchers?
Shane Baz.
Yeah. I believe he does. It's like a 2.7 or 2.8, I believe. We haven't had one of them in a while since pre-Kyle Bradish injury, and then last year with Trevor Rogers. But like, right now you have all 3 of those guys. Right now, would love to have all 3 of them for 4 or 5 years, and I just think that's great. Like, it sucks to give those guys up, but like that was a good trade as long as he stays healthy.
And he's knock on wood, he's been healthy. He's probably on pace for about 175, 200 innings this year. Let's see. Right now he is. Kyle Bradish leads the team in B WAR.
He moved up then.
As far as pitchers are concerned, Bradish
Okay,
is
it was Boz for a while.
For Bradish is at a 1.7 B. No, Brandon Young's at a 1.8.
Okay.
And you've got Boz at a 1.4, Bradish at a 1.7, Tyler Wells 1.6.
Yeah, he's had a good season. Which is crazy to see a closer throwing 93 and being effective.
I know, right? Like, but I mean, he's just so big. You know what I mean? And like, I think he hides the baseball well, and he just his spin rate's elite. I don't know shit about that stuff, but and you look at Boz, he's made 22 starts. He's got a 3.86 ERA, 128 in the third innings pitch. He's going to finish the season with about 180 innings. And if he makes all the rest of his starts, you're looking at 33 starts and about 180 innings this year, which is exactly what you signed him to do. And if he finishes with a sub-4 ERA, that's exactly what you paid for. You know, and you're getting the same. You're getting the same production out of Kyle Bradish. You're probably getting the same production by the time the season's all said and done. You look at the Orioles starting rotation. They've got 4 starters with an ERA of 4.27 or better in 18 starts or more and over 100 innings. I think last year Trevor Rogers' 109 innings was like the leader on the team.
Yeah,
you know, like this rotation's good, man. They're good, and
And look, they didn't hoard their prospects, and they went and got a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that trade. I'd love to have those guys back, but I like that trade because I don't think you're getting Shane Baz from Tampa Bay for much less, especially interdivision. And I said, PB9 asked if Kevin Gossman did get traded to the Cubs. Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. I mean, Kevin's getting a little bit older.
Prospects.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit older. He was just in the World Series, but maybe gets a shot to try and go back to go back to the playoffs. Good luck beating the Dodgers, but crazier things have happened in baseball. So let's. I know you wanted to talk about that. Let's flip to that with the Tariq Skubal. I'm more mad at the Brewers for not acquiring Skubal than I am at the Dodgers for being the Dodgers here.
Mm-hmm.
Because their system, obviously not as good as Detroit's. I mean, the Dodgers is still elite. They could have really put themselves on the map with a Skubal trade. Now, yes, he does want to go to LA. I understand that. You don't want to give up these prospects. I understand that because it's a rental. But does it matter if you win a World Series? Especially for somebody like the Brewers who just, it doesn't matter who you are. I would put them in a class with the Dodgers. Now, the guys that the Dodgers traded were 11th round picks. That was pure development. Kudos to the Dodgers. Not many organizations can do that. The Brewers could have because they do the same thing.
Right.
They could have turned those guys around within a year or two and just replaced their farm system with somebody else. They could have went after it. They could have made money. Yeah, I know they're cash strapped, but you make money going deep into the playoffs. You make a lot of money, stupid amount of money. I think they could have really helped themselves. And the thing that I think with the Brewers and what they do well, they do everything right. And what happens in baseball when you do the little things right?
You win baseball games.
You win baseball games. So if there was a team that could go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers, it was Milwaukee. It still is. But having that extra arm would have been huge. I'm more disappointed in them.
For me, like, it doesn't matter. Like, Milwaukee has the best record in baseball right now. It was the same thing last year.
Yep.
And then they faced the Dodgers in the AL. What was it? The NLDS or was it the champ?
I think it was
the
the
DS. Yeah, and they got swept.
Yeah.
4 games to none. They got swept. The same thing would happen this year. You know,
Yeah.
the same thing's going to happen this year. Now, if they had Skubal to pair with Mizorowski, I mean, look out.
Right.
That's 2 games where the Dodgers are going to be hard pressed to win those ball games. Any team is going to be hard pressed to win those ball games. So somebody, O's fan KY said Brewers will get Trevor Rogers. Don't worry.
Even if they did, like that puts them right back in the map with the Dodgers, in my opinion.
Yeah. I look at Skubal going to the Dodgers, and I'm not like, so many people were pissed off, and I'm like, you're pissed off, but like we've known this for a month.
Yeah.
Like we've known Skubal was going to be traded to the Dodgers for a month.
Since the offseason, honestly. They had a package in the offseason.
They gave up the number 55 overall prospect in the top 100.
Who they drafted in the 11th round.
Yeah, and then 2 mid-level prospects. Like that's any team could have done that. The Orioles could have done that. The Brewers could have done that. Any team.
Well, the difference is like if the Orioles would do it, that sets them back a little while. The Dodgers don't even care.
They don't care, and they'll sign him they'll sign him in the offseason.
Well, I'm not saying like for that. I'm just saying like their talent and development is so elite.
No, I know what you meant.
It doesn't matter what ranking prospect they ship off, they'll replace it without missing a beat. Like they are so far beyond every other team in baseball. Take money out of it. The Dodgers are still the best across the board. They could be a dead broke team. They're the Milwaukee at that point. They do everything right from the bottom up.
Now, where people are upset is that the Dodgers filed for bankruptcy.
Right.
And Major League Baseball bailed them out by basically
deal.
with that TV deal where they're basically taxing them as though they're still broke. I mean, they're making $66 million extra a year off that TV deal. And now they're spending more money than everybody else. And they're trading for all the best players.
They're making, I don't take this with a grain of salt because I only read it from one article, but it was like $1 billion a year in international money because of Ohtani. Like
probably
investment well made.
Yeah, they are the cream of the crop when it comes to a baseball organization. Not just because they have the money to spend now, but also because of the fact that they're just run beautifully from top to bottom. They are a perfectly run baseball team, and nobody. I hate the argument. Don't be mad at the Dodgers because your team could do the same thing that they are. And this is where I don't want to get lost in the sauce because like I'm out of my element when it comes to this stuff because at the end of the day it's millionaires fighting against billionaires and it's billionaires that are trying to not have to spend as much money as players want them to spend and like They're going to come to an agreement on something at some point. There's too much money to be lost here next year. I think you and I both agree on that. The baseball will be played in 2027. They're not going to
Yeah.
miss a full year, but it just sucks because it's like we grew up watching the Yankees do this. And now the Yankees don't really do it as much anymore. And now we're watching the Dodgers, and the Dodgers just take it to another level that like it's difficult. And I'm not gonna say that you can't compete, but they aren't willing to compete.
Yeah.
You know,
But they
anybody
didn't
could.
do it right away with the money either.
Yeah.
Like they built the foundation. They built prospects first to the point where they can afford to trade to Mookie Betts and not feel it. And then they were able to generate the income because Mookie sells tickets, right? Then they could afford Freddie Freeman, right? Freddie Freeman sells tickets. Then you go in and get Ohtani, right? And they probably didn't even afford Ohtani, but they knew, and this is why it was all backloaded, they knew everything that would come in once you got him there.
Otani pays for himself already.
Ohtani paid for himself in like week 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Week 3. It's
Yeah, so-
crazy. And that was my argument too. Like say if Tampa Bay wanted to acquire Skubal. Now granted he was still owed $9.5 million for the rest of the season, which is a lot for 50 games. One playoff series right there, Tampa Bay would win is $20 million in extra revenue. Like, so to say that like, oh, we just couldn't afford him. You could have. You definitely could have.
Yeah.
For the rest of this year. And if you give yourself a chance to win a World Series or even get there, like you're talking 150 million extra ever in revenue that you could have had to invest 9.5 million in a couple of prospects. That's my gripe against some of these teams.
Yeah, look, you had the opportunity to do the same thing. Now, look, I don't want to give too much credence to conspiracy theory stuff, but like stuff like this happens. Do you think that there's any kind of collusion? Because I saw this argument more than once, and it's interesting to think about, though I'm not sure that it's a thing. Any kind of collusion where it was like, we're going to make this trade with the Dodgers because we want the fans on our side. We want the fans on the side of the owners.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I saw it enough that I just wanted to at least like. I get it, but I just don't think that that's the case. I think that that's too convenient.
No, the Tigers they're trying to win, and they have a fairly decent ball club there. They're going to try and get what they can that best helps them in the near term. And look, the Dodgers have the number 1 farm system in baseball, so if they're calling, you're going to listen. You're going to listen. Their number 5 is probably the other team's number 1. Like that's just where we're at. You know, and someone, I forget who said it, but they said, like, you know, the dude was a top 50 prospect, and he was still the 4th best outfielder in their organization. Like,
Right.
That's where they're at.
I think they have like 9 top 100 players.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Yeah. So
Depending on the publication. I think Baseball America had with 10. Like,
yeah.
they don't even feel it. Wayman, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, by the way. Think Rogers would net more than Peralta and Gossman? Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
A lefty who's pitched like he has for the majority of the last 2 seasons, I think so.
Yeah.
I do want to pay a couple of bills here. Today's show has been brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Enrique Bradfield Jr., former MLB star Jackie Bradley Jr., Brad Brock, and actor Wendell Pierce, who famously played Bunk Moreland on The Wire, you can find them in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Also, keep in mind that it's still summer. The school season is gonna be back in play here before you know it. All summer long, you can find the latest news about high school coaching changes and previews for football season by visiting CountySports.zone. CountySports.zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com.
So I seen O's fan KY said Dodgers prospects are overrated, and they are. They are. Because when they leave, they're not the greatest elsewhere. But that's a testament to their player development and their coaching.
Yeah.
You could kind of argue that maybe the Orioles prospects are a little overrated too.
Yeah. I mean,
they haven't panned out just yet.
I know.
Just yet.
Oh man.
There's still time. I keep telling myself that there's still time.
It's just. I don't care that Scuba went to the Dodgers because the Dodgers were going to win were likely to win the World Series anyway.
Yeah.
And somebody said now that the Dodgers have Scuba, it's World Series or bust. It's always World Series or bust. That changed
Yeah.
nothing. They wanted a legit top of the rotation starter to pair with Yamamoto, and they got him. And like if
Just
they
got to keep him
weren't-
healthy.
I mean, they're the 40% favorites to win.
Yeah.
To win the World Series.
It should probably go up.
Yeah. So,
But they make smart trades too. Like Tommy Eschlin, this is one of their best players. They got him for near nothing.
Pius leads their team in RBI.
Yeah,
This year.
He's a homegrown guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe he is.
yeah.
Um,
And Dalton Rushing, I mean, he's having a pretty solid season. He's a little bit of a nut job, but pretty solid catcher. You know, I mean, it's not like they're just not. It's not like they're buying everybody. Like they're putting their pieces together. They're just buying their starting pitching at this point. Now, granted, they bought Ohtani and Freeman, but somebody else could have went and traded for Mookie Betts and started this whole thing too. I mean, Mookie's going to the Hall of Fame.
yeah. Sam Johnson, could we get Jansen plus from Boston for Adley, and who from New York would you want for Adley?
Elmer and Carlos Lagrange.
Are you like?
I don't care where Adley goes.
You
I
don't
really
care
don't.
where he goes?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I just prefer Tampa Bay for Bodine.
I don't think they trade Bodine back. I just
Me either.
that would be weird to me.
But they also have a guy ranked ahead of him too,
Mm-hmm.
who I believe is younger.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about Tampa Bay's farm system. What I do
It's
know
elite.
is I would have a hard time seeing Adley go to Boston or go to the Yankees, to the Rays or the Blue Jays. To the Rays, I don't know. Like, and maybe subconsciously I don't take the Rays seriously, even though I should because they're good every year. They're the best team in the American League this year, but. Every year they somehow do it, but like seeing Adley go to the Rays doesn't bother me. Seeing him go to the Yankees or the Blue Jays or the Red Sox, I would lose
Just
sleep
a big
over.
market team, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
I don't care if he goes out west. I don't care if he goes to Seattle or if he goes to. I don't care who he goes to. Just don't go to New York or Boston.
What if he goes to the Dodgers?
I mean,
They're looking for catching help apparently. Will Smith's out 8 weeks.
oh no, trade him to Boston and get some of their top prospects. I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I don't care who else is doing what. What I do care about is that other teams are trying to go for it right now, and they're making the moves, and we're still sitting here 9-23, and our biggest trades are Jake Rogers and Dean Kramer.
Yeah.
That's what I care about. And then people are talking about, oh, well, it's okay that Kramer's gone because, that rotation spot could go to Povich or Trey Gibson. It's like, if you're trying to win baseball games right now, they probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Although we forget that Povich actually pitched really well at the beginning of the year for the Orioles before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What's he doing in the minors right now?
I think he's added velocity, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I've seen a 96 tick across a couple times.
Okay.
I don't think the numbers look outstanding, but I think, it is, again, we've talked about this several times on this channel, is the International League is really hard to gauge offensively and on the mound. He's 1-5 right now with a 5.94 ERA. It's very inflated in the International League, and it's why it's hard to kind of gauge guys. And we get excited about guys that are coming up here, oh, they got so much power, and they get here and they don't.
Right.
It's because of that league. But it's also why we get really excited when we see a guy come up and he's like, dude, he's got like a sub-3 ERA in the International League. Like, that's really freaking good. But then they also come up here and they don't. I don't have an answer for that one, but
it's the biggest
tough.
The biggest jump in all professional sports. We talked about it last week. We've said multiple times.
Yeah.
The biggest jump in professional sports is that from AAA to the majors. And honestly, at the end of the day, unless the Orioles add to their offense, it doesn't really matter what they do. Like,
Yeah.
I do think that they need to get bullpen help, but
Let's talk about that, actually. Cano with an extension.
Yeah,
We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
mean,
Love the guy.
and it's so funny because John Paul Morosi put out there that he would probably be a
Yeah.
name to watch as the most coveted reliever on the market outside of Mason Miller.
I guarantee he probably was.
But what I love about that is it shows you that they are thinking about the future.
Yeah.
That they're hoping that last year and this year will end up being a blip on the radar.
Mm-hmm.
But this can't happen again next year. It can't happen this year.
So
And it has.
here's the problem too, and shout out to my buddy Alex. Alex always gives me some really good stats. Give me a second to find it. Where was it here? Since May 22nd, the 32-28, 533 winning percentage. That's an 86 win pace over 2 months. Now they lost one less game, which was before yesterday's game. That was a 90 win pace. April is killing this team for 2 straight years now. Mm-hmm. They come out so terrible in April, they put themselves in a hole.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, we thought that was just a Dean Kramer thing before. But now this is a Baltimore Orioles thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting themselves in the hole and playing catch-up the entire season because of April, 2 years in a row now.
Yeah. I mean, last year...
How do you fix that? Because it's offense. Like, how many games did we lose watching Pete and Gunnar just stink with runners in scoring position?
And that's the thing. The problem with Pete and Gunnar has even acknowledged it takes him 2 weeks to get going.
Yeah.
In a season. And this year, that 2 weeks has turned into 4.5 months.
Yeah.
With Pete, like, he's had slow starts in his career before in April. For me, I look at it and it's like, dude was trying to hit everything 500 feet because he's the big addition. It's his first team outside of the Mets. It's the first time playing for anybody but the Mets. He wants to be the hero. He wants to come in here and show why they paid him all this money, and he got off to an ice cold start. It's not having Westberg. Not having Westberg in the lineup from day one. Adley got off to a good start, but then he got hurt pretty early on in the year. You're depending on Beavers and Basayo and hoping they take a step forward and you were.
What did I just do here? Sorry.
What's that?
I clicked something. All of a sudden, my screen started going crazy.
No. For me, it's I look at it and is it too bland a response to say they need better players?
I mean, I think we're pushing that at this point. We're going on we're going on year 2, and I'm not singling out any specific player, but I'm putting them in a group. We're going on year 2 of the core holding this team back offensively.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have Jeremiah Jackson.
We honestly thought that this core would hit enough to where the pitching just had to be good enough. That's all we needed was good enough, and you had a good back end of the bullpen, and we've been fine. They haven't lived up to the expectation.
They haven't. And you look across the board, man. You signed Tyler O'Neill to come in here and hit home runs and hit left-handed pitching. Yeah. He's got, 13 home runs as an Oriole in 2 years?
Yeah. And I think it's like 6 against lefties.
Yeah. You signed Taylor Ward to come in here and hit home runs and drive in runs and play left field for you.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done it.
Yeah.
Gunnar has just fallen off a cliff. Is it? Yes, the core is holding us back to a certain extent, but how much of this is on the development team?
That's what I don't know.
And the other thing, Zach,
the only way to know is to trade one of these guys and then have him go off, like Carlos Towers.
If you and I knew, we'd be sitting here on Sunday night hosting the show. Exactly.
We'd be hosting a national show.
But my whole thing is I look at Colton Cowser, and I want to trade Cowser for 2 things. For one, because I think that there are a lot of teams out there that look at Cowser and they're like, he's an elite defender. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's got light tower power.
He's a 5-tool player.
We can fix him. We can fix this kid.
Yeah.
And that's one. So I think that you could actually get, and he's under team control for like 4 or 5 more years. You could get a lot for Cowser. And number 2, Number two, I want to see him go someplace else that has ran their organization competently over the last 2 years, and see what they do with him. And I want to see if it's an Orioles thing, like you said, like we're not going to know until we see them go
Yeah.
elsewhere. I want to see Cowser go elsewhere and see if he turns into a 250 hitter that hits 30 home runs.
Blue Jays or Cardinals
Because then you're going to know.
or more Milwaukee.
You know, like that's how you're going to know.
Yeah.
So, because honestly, I have no idea. I don't know why Gunnar and I had heard earlier this year, but maybe I only heard it in passing. His grandfather died during the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
And I know that they were like super close, and maybe that has something to do with it.
They dedicated
You know,
the season to him.
Yeah.
That's going to weigh on you big time when you're
I'm
struggling.
sure. I'm sure. You know, so you look at that. But man, so many of these guys have just regressed now 2 years in a row. And we hoped with you and I thought the Cows were going to have you more than me, but I thought the Cows was going to bounce back a little bit this year because he had the broken thumb last year, and then he had the broken ribs, and just injury after injury. He only played in like 85 games or something like that. So
I thought Towser would be a
healthy.
240 hitter.
Yeah,
With a new coaching staff in here and all, and new hitting coaches, and
he was in a 4 for 57 slump going into like last week.
yeah,
It's and Thomas just said this. It's all mental with this team. I think a lot of it. I think a lot of it is mental. Pete Alonso is the one guy that you have on your team that's just that dude, right? That he's gonna put
but
up
even
his
he
numbers.
like sometimes just swings at really dumb pitches.
He swung
I
at
don't
three
get
balls. 3 balls last night with runners with 2 runners on in the fifth inning
Yeah.
when they were down 1-0.
It's like they all are trying to hit like a 9-run home run every time they're up there. With anytime there's a guy staying on second base or third base, like I just don't think that they're content with just hitting a ball to right field and scoring a guy.
Well, and I think that comes down to philosophy. To
1,000%.
To team philosophy is that we want to try and hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
And that's where analytics and all this technology has its place in the game. It absolutely doesn't. If you have it at your disposal, you 100% need to use it. But the reliance on it's baseball is always going to be baseball. Hitting behind a runner, playing good defense, getting a runner over, getting a runner in. Runs are how you win baseball games. And if you're not hitting the ball, if you're not hitting 3-4 home runs a game, find ways to score runs. And if you can't find ways to score runs, then you have to manufacture. You have to manufacture.
Yeah.
They don't do it. Leody Taveras bunting 4 times a week, I love it because he's trying to do something to help the ball club.
Yep.
I'd rather see him bunt 4 times a week and try and get somebody over, try and reach base that way, than see him striking out with the bases loaded last night.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But I mean,
like
I'd take you button with bases loaded. I don't care.
they're not expecting that.
The Cowboys Nation says better than watching Ward look at strikes right down the middle of runners in scoring position.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's why I lost a lot of faith in that guy.
Yeah, dude, I watched Cowser watch a pitch right down the middle for strike 3, and then the next thing today I watched Jackson Holliday do the same thing right down the middle for strike 3, and I'm just sitting there like, why are we not swinging the bat? How are you not trying to
hunt a fastball?
How are you not trying to even, if it's anything but the fastball, then just try and flick it foul somewhere.
Yeah.
And,
I don't get
it. And if it is
that's
the
when you know they're
fastball,
guessing. That's when you know they're guessing.
100%.
And this has been a guess first offense for quite a while. And we've talked about it multiple times in here. It's been multiple coaches too. And I think it's pretty tough to find multiple coaches that have that same kind of philosophy. But there's just no way that you can live and die by a guess first offense.
Right. Somebody said another trade just happened. It looks like the Braves are acquiring Tyler Mahle from the Giants for right-handed pitcher Anthony Molina.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd see.
If the Orioles are doing anything, for some reason they like to do it after like 11:30 p.m.
Right. I think it was like 11-18 back in November when they traded Gossman
Grayson.
for. Yeah, Grayson. When they traded Grayson
Yeah, it
for
was
Warren.
11:45 for the other night, wasn't it? For Dean Kramer.
Yeah.
I was passed out by 10. I had no idea.
Yeah. The Kramer trade happened late. Let's see.
Yeah.
Man, I just want to see them go for it. I just want to see them go for it. But again, like you said, that it just
But
when you take
the outfield free agency is not great either.
I was looking at that before the show,
Yeah.
and it really isn't.
So I love this comment here from John because we've talked about this multiple times on this channel. White Sox and Nationals both have former O's hitting coaches. So is it a hitting coaching issue? And that's when I started peeking into that. And it's the White Sox have multiple former hitting coaches. And this, you and I talked about this earlier in the season when they were like, I think it was like May, and they led all of baseball in hitting in May. And it because not Tommy Joseph, the other third hitting coach that they had went with us. He was like the upper level minor league hitting coach or whatever. Sherman
Cody
Johnson.
Ashley, Sherman Johnson. Yeah.
Sherman. So Sherman went to the White Sox, and I actually posted about it. He liked it. But yeah, like, at this point, like we keep blaming hitting coaches for our failures, but then they go elsewhere and they do fine.
Yeah, I'm not blaming hitting coaches.
I stopped blaming coaches after I started looking at that, like completely.
Yeah, like because also all of these guys have their own hitting gurus.
Yeah.
They all have their own personal hitting coaches. So I'm not blaming hitting coaches at this point. I'm blaming the players.
Yeah. I think that we've seen enough to where I think you can start to get to that.
Like I just don't know how.
But I'm still on the fence too. Is like, is it philosophy, like organizational philosophy?
I think that there's organizational philosophy, and then I think it's not willing to have a team at bat.
Yeah.
But
that has to go back to organizational philosophy because like when I was with the Marlins, that's all they preached was team at bats. I mean, that is it. If you got up with a guy on first base, your sole job was to hit a ball to the right side on the ground, and if not, you were running. Like that. And if it was a guy on third, your job was to get the ball in the air at a reasonable distance. If not, you were running. Everything was about team at bats. Now, granted, I'm old, and we're talking 18 years ago. No, was it 18 years ago? Damn. No. Yes. Damn. Yeah. But the game has changed, but it shouldn't have.
Baseball will always be baseball to me. It
Yeah.
will always be baseball to me, and the fundamentals of baseball is you do what you have to score runs.
Yep.
It's not a one-trick pony. It's not a home run or bust. It's you do what you have to score runs, and it just doesn't feel like they do that. Today's show brought to you by the latest issue of Press Box, which is available now. On the cover, Dave LaMonaco profiles how Orioles play-by-play broadcaster Kevin Brown became an amiable mainstay in Baltimore and one of the top voices in all of baseball. Also inside, Antonio Barbera looks at whether the championship window is narrowing for the Ravens veteran core. And it's our special travel issue with a look at sports tourism options for you and your family around Maryland this summer. So be on the lookout for the new printed issue for free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores, and also read it at PressBoxOnline.com. So ultimately, what do you think happens between now and the deadline tomorrow? Because I've reached the point now where I don't think anything significant's happening. I think we're all going to be very upset tomorrow.
I think we ship out Taylor Ward. I'm hoping for somebody that can come back. And I don't need arms anymore. I want guys that are close to and or major league ready to come back and play outfield for this team because they need to make some adjustments. And I think you need to have a long look in the mirror tonight. And it sucks to even talk about this too because like, is your core good enough? And I leave the silence there for a reason. Is it good enough to retool and come back next year and try to win? And if it's not, I think you need to make a hard decision tomorrow. Whether that be I don't even know who to announce. Anybody but Jackson Holliday
Yeah.
and Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
But if they can't help you score runs and win baseball games next year, because you've counted on them for 3 years now, you've given them the keys for 3 years now. I think it's hard. It's time to maybe make a tough decision. And Adley might be one of those. And I know it's going to kill the fan base and people are going to be pissed off, but he's been here for a long time. And they haven't done much.
You've grown up an Orioles fan, right? And we all have our teams, right? And the different eras. You know, those mid to late 90s Orioles teams were like, they were like what made me love baseball, right? But even the bad teams, and I've said this on the show before, even the bad teams, you felt a connection to somebody on that team. I don't feel a connection to anybody on this team.
I think it was Gunnar, but it kind of faded for a lot of people this year, which sucks.
There's Bradish. I feel connected to Bradish because he's that dude. You know,
well, I think a lot of people were connected to Ryan O'Hearn.
Yeah.
And here's my thing too: is Elias didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude traded Trey Mancini. Like, he didn't even care.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even care. You know, it's just he understands it's a business, which I'm thankful for. But I'm also like I'll blame him. You know, he's given the keys to this core for quite a while and putting a lot of trust into them. Where most teams would have said, like, okay, you get the keys here for half a season. If you don't do it, we're getting some guys in here that can. These guys, now granted, a lot of injuries have happened, but they've had the keys for a while now. And I think it's about time that Mike has to say, like, hey, you've had your shot, and I need to move on.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say that because I do love all our guys. I really do.
Like, there are good players on this team, man, but there's not the connections you had to like the Nick Markakises and Adam Joneses and Brian Roberts and Chris Davises of the world. You know, Gunnar had that opportunity, and then he's the best player. He's the best player on the team in the season that he's had this year. And it sucks.
If we were still a really bad team, I think everybody would still love Gunnar Henderson, even if he's had a struggling season.
Yeah.
But I think because expectations have been there and they're so high and he has struggled, I think it's weighed on a lot of people.
It's been very frustrating, especially when you look at what he's and he was that triple the other day. He put such a good swing on that ball, and the emotion that he let out, like you felt it. Yep. You felt it, and then like he was still choked up in the press conference, not the press conference, the after game interview on TV. You could tell that he was choked up, and you feel that, and you want it to be the turning point. You want it to be the turning point so badly, you know. So I really don't want to harp it on him, but if Gunnar was Gunnar from just last year, we're not talking about this team this way right now.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it doesn't all fall on one player. But if you're having one player on your team have the worst season of their career, the last player that it could possibly be is Gunnar Henderson. That's exactly who it was.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you said that because look across the lineup at players having the worst year of their career. Taylor Ward, Colton Cowser, Tyler O'Neill, Gunnar Henderson. I mean, that's what I just named four guys in your start nine most of the time are having career worst years. Do we think bringing a couple guys in and going for it is really going to change those four guys?
Yeah, it's not. What's good? Honestly, I think what's going to change those guys is just flipping the lineup on its head, and that's what really sucked about Blaze having his hand broken, and then you lose Basayo and Adley a week or two later. Is that Blaze? You could have moved him up in the order. Basayo, you could hit him third or fifth. Like you had the options. Now you've got Jake Rogers out there catching meaningful innings for you. You know, like
2 years in a row now, though. 2 years in a row.
The injuries are a real thing, but like
why?
You said, you I don't know. Why were they that way for the Ravens for so long?
Like if you said this on the pitching staff, like which we did last year, you can look around baseball and people are just like, yeah, that's just baseball, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can look around baseball and really see another team with the positional player injuries that the Orioles have, and they're all stupid. You know what I mean? Like they're all like wild injuries.
Your third baseman needed to have Tommy John surgery.
Your your backup first baseman broke his foot and then tears his oblique warming up for Norfolk.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, like what other organization in baseball has a guy tear his oblique warming up?
The Orioles. It's just the Orioles. It's a snake, dude. It's a snake bitten franchise. I don't know why. I honestly have. I actually posted this like maybe a month ago that I came to two events that it could be. Either firing Cal Senior 7 games into the 1988 season, or Peter Angelo sitting next to Fidel Castro, chumming it up with him in 1999.
No, because he died. You would think that curse would have broke, right?
Maybe it's bigger than him. Maybe it's. I mean, how many people died with the curse of the Bambino and the goat in
when
Chicago?
the hell did they build the Hilton?
The Hilton's been there since like 2010.
Yeah, well, they got good and then sucked.
Yeah, but I mean, like they've been bad for 40 years. Like I told you, I'm gonna be 42 in September, and I've seen 13 winning seasons. Maybe it's me. Maybe
I told you before we need to just ship you off to the Yankees.
Maybe I am the curse because I can't have. I'm not allowed to have nice things, man. Like,
you're a Yankees fan now.
No, the roof looks like a nice jumping spot. If that's the case, absolutely not. Dude,
I mean, let's be honest though. I mean, if I had lived in New York and had to be a Yankees fan, I'd be living life right about now. 27 championships, that'd be great. What, 3 in my lifetime? 4? I don't know. Be greater if I was a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
Most recent.
What did we do to deserve this?
Live in the great state of Maryland. Pay a lot of taxes.
Oh, man. Well, today's show finally also brought to you by Leading Edge Auto Body. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, customer satisfaction comes first. Their team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. And they make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery. Find out more at leadingedautobody.com. Anything you want to throw out there before we get out of here?
I know people are frustrated with the Orioles and don't want to give them any money, and that's fine. And I'm not saying you're wrong. But there's some really good baseball in Frederick and Bowie and whatnot. If you're close, like go watch some good baseball. There's some good players down there, and it's still fun to watch. You know, you're still supporting the team in some way, and you get to maybe get a firsthand look at how some of these guys that will be up here soon. I mean, honestly, right now the Bay Sox are loaded with talent, and if you want to see potentially. 2 major league players every single night hitting right now. Aloy and Estrada right now playing the middle for the Bay Sox. Go enjoy yourself and watch one of them one night. They've got a load of talent. The pitching staff. Just talking. They're just loaded right now. But if you're close by, I mean, if you're mad at the Orioles, I get it. Don't spend money there if you don't want to. But go support one of these other teams. I think you enjoy yourself. And it's cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap to watch good baseball.
I'm very upset that the Ironbirds aren't an affiliate anymore. They're 15 minutes from my house. I would love to go. You know?
But honestly, I mean, even the Ironbirds, it's the draft league. Now, granted, it's more like college players and high school players, but I mean, it's still competitive baseball. These guys that were trying to get drafted pretty quickly, and it's kind of cool that they do that now. They didn't used to do that before. So it's neat to kind of see some of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I'm sorry, I'm just trying to pull this up. What kind of injury does Nate George have? I think it's an illness.
Yeah. So I follow him on Instagram, and he's been a little bit more active. He's been getting outside more. He's been hanging a lot with the girlfriend, fishing, hiking, and stuff like that. So it sounds, not sounds, but looking at pictures, pure speculation, it seems like he's starting to get up and move around a little bit more, which is a good sign. But they're not going to talk about what it is, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
when it comes to a health issue,
And he
I mean-
looks good in the picture. He took a couple selfies with the girlfriend. Physically looks fine. So like, didn't look like he's lost a lot of weight or anything like that. So I think you can like rule out anything life threatening. Hopefully, knock on wood.
yeah.
So maybe it's just a lost season for him, and we'll get him back next year.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so, because that was a prospect. Like, he was probably the prospect I was most excited about.
Yeah.
Coming into this year, and he was
He started
he's off
hot.
to he did he was hitting like close to 300 at high A, and then
Yeah.
he hasn't played since I think like May 7th, something
Yeah.
like that. So, I'm people are starting to talk about Adley getting traded like imminently, like the talks are heating up for him. So I think Adley may be going, but we'll see. That's gonna do it for
It
us.
wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, no, I mean he's their biggest trade chip right now.
Yeah.
I think so. If they're not trading Kaiser, but that's gonna do it for us here on the Bat Around. If I seem somber, I'm just exhausted, guys. So I and the Orioles upset me. I try not to let them, but they do. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, viewers. Without you, we do not have a show until next week. Hopefully, it's a great deadline. See ya.